Hello, Packers fans. Welcome into PackersNews.com. I'm Kassidy Hill here from Lambeau Field, where it is a snowy night, which is why we are not on the field tonight, here in the tunnel instead. But this might work in our favor. We hear word that a certain pop star might be coming in through this tunnel here in just a few minutes. We'll see if we can catch a sight of her coming through the tunnel here into Lambeau Field. Got about an hour and 30 minutes to kick off. Inactives will be coming out here just any minute. But of course, we do know that running back Aaron Jones will not be playing tonight. He was ruled out by Matt LaFleur on Friday, so he won't be playing tonight. Packers will instead be leaning on guys like A.J. Dillon, of course, no Emmanuel Wilson, and instead James Robinson, who was elevated from the practice squad to the active roster on Saturday. James Robinson has not been active all of this year. This will be his first time, I believe, being active. Or no, I'm sorry, he was active when he was with the Packers a couple of weeks ago. Could actually see some playing time tonight, though, as a cold, chilly night here in Lambeau Field will inevitably take the game to the ground for the Packers offense. The Packers do have the inactive list out, so let's see who is out, who is not. The inactives for the Packers tonight are Jair Alexander, Aaron Jones, we knew that one, Britton Cox, Caleb Jones, Josiah DeGuara, and Samori Toure. Jair Alexander was sort of up in the air. He was considered questionable for tonight with that shoulder injury that has kept him out of the past couple of games. He was able to practice all week, albeit in a limited capacity. So not entirely surprising that he's not practicing tonight, but of course someone that they would have really wanted on the field to take out MVS and Rice for the Chiefs, both of their big game threats. And then, of course, a guy like Travis Kelce who can sort of tear you apart across the middle. That being said, the Packers secondary was Corey Ballantyne and Carrington Ballantyne and Keyshawn Nixon, Jonathan Owens, Anthony Johnson Jr. have really found a groove here the past couple of weeks. So there's going to be a question of, with Darnell Savage now back on the active roster and not inactive tonight, and therefore active for tonight's game, do you put Darnell Savage out on the field and take off one of Owens or Johnson Jr., or do you let Owens and Johnson Jr. continue to roll together since they have been able to create a really good communication between the two of them out on the field? I see we've got a couple of questions here. Randy asked, with Aaron Jones out, can A.J. Dillon rush for more yards and score lots of touchdowns over Kansas City's defense? Packers are definitely going to want him to. When the weather gets colder, that's usually when A.J. Dillon heats up. He actually talked a bit about how effective he could be to sort of open up this offense for the Packers against this Kansas City defense. You know, this Kansas City defense loves to blitz. They're going to blitz getting off the bus. And they're going to try to get after Jordan Love a lot. They use a lot of exotic looks, a lot of different exotic blitzes. How do you counteract that? With a really good running game. Hit them fast, hit them early. It might not be explosive early, but it can really kind of open up the Packers offense if they can get that ground game going. A.J. Dillon actually talked about that earlier this week. Let's hear what he had to say about how he can affect the game tonight.
You know, you just got to be prepared for some more stuff. You know, they normally blitz with a little bit more frequency than we normally see, so it doesn't really change your game plan, but more so just makes you kind of focus on your rules. We have rules for everything. If you just trust that process and like kind of follow what you should, then you can pick it up. But it gets tough when, you know, if you start to like, oh, maybe it's coming from over here, you start to see ghosts and stuff like that, then it can be tough. But I think we got a good plan in place. We always have that stuff in place, but like I said, it's just another added thing, like because it's so frequent, just like making sure that, you know, you hear everything, get all that communication in.
Are there ever moments too, like, where your eyes kind of get big because you've got the ball and it's like, oh, they cleared out the safety and I
Yeah, no, definitely, but try not to think about that too much, just let it happen to you, but manifest it for sure. have always had our own expectations on our standard, and that's how we play. Everybody else's expectations outside of this locker room really don't matter. Like, they're nice, but they don't matter. 2 weeks ago, they said we suck, and their expectation was for us to tank. Now everybody's saying we're great and we should go push for the playoffs. So it's a lot easier to be, armchair quarterback on Monday than it is to go out there and play and lead a team to go win. So, I think everybody in here has that mindset of our standard is to go out there, put your best foot forward, to stick together, to play hard, to play fast, and continue to grow week in and week out. And I'm happy with how everybody, not just the young guys, but the young guys especially, have, really stepped up. Guys in key roles stepping up and making plays in big-time moments, and I think they'll continue to do that.
So as we heard from A.J. Dillon there, he knows that this is a game that he can really kind of take over and help this Packers offense stretch the Chiefs defense and, really kind of negate some of Steve Spagnuolo's blitzes and allow Jordan Love to open it up more, maybe get it deep downfield to Christian Watson, little deep crossers to Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed. But again, that's all going to depend on the run game. With that in mind, this is going to be one of those games where don't be surprised if for the first quarter and a half, maybe the whole first half, the Packers offense really has a little bit of slow going. But that can be intentional, calling certain plays, certain looks, to see what the defense for Kansas City is doing, how they respond, and then come out in the second half with a better plan of how to attack it. Don't be surprised at all if that's the case, and therefore don't be discouraged if they're not getting into the red zone very, very much in the first half. The key there, of course, is going to also be to hold the Chiefs offense, to a low-scoring game as well, so that it's not too big of a hole to climb out of. Let's see. Michael asked, what are the keys to victory? Keys to victory, I think, are going to lean a lot on A.J. Dillon, as we said, in that running game. And then shutting down Patrick Mahomes, letting this pass rush like Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kingsley Enagbare get to him quickly and sort of force the ball out. Patrick Mahomes loves to buy time on his scrambles and run around and extend plays, and that's what makes him so good. Can that back end, can Anthony Johnson Jr., can Jonathan Owens, Darnell Savage, can they cover for 6, 7, 9 seconds if Mahomes is scrambling? And can the pass rush help them by getting to Mahomes early to keep them from having to do that? See if there's, and then of course another key to the game is going to be somebody like Keyshawn Nixon, help flipping the field and putting the offense in really, really good position. That could be one of the biggest keys to this game. Keyshawn Nixon, of course, is up for Pro Bowl voting now, so if you want to vote for Packers players to the Pro Bowl, look for Keyshawn Nixon as one of those options. Packers are pushing him as well. Let's see if we've got any other questions in here. Angie just says, go Pack, go. And then, how can Jordan Love make throws without getting sacked? And then a follow-up question, or intercepted. Can the Packers pass protection sort of negate those blitzes, as we said? And can Jordan Love kind of keep a play alive? Can he borrow a page from Patrick Mahomes' book and scramble out, roll out, go on some bootlegs, design bootlegs, and then scrambles to buy a little bit more time and avoid getting sacked, avoid those interceptions, and open up the coverage downfield? And of course, that will again go back to what is A.J. Dillon going to be able to do. As we said, just one more time, going over the inactives here. Devondre Campbell, Darnell Savage will play. Jair Alexander, Aaron Jones, Britton Cox Jr., Caleb Jones, Josiah DeMora, Samari Torrey, all inactive tonight for the Packers. The Chiefs inactives are to be announced. They have not been at this time. Tom Silverstein will have his live vlog starting. Here goes Jordan Love, back to the locker room. Tom Silverstein will have his live vlog starting in about 50 minutes here at 6:50. Kickoff is at 7:20. Make sure you're following that there, and then we will have full coverage for you on PackersNews.com during and after the Packers primetime game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.